All right. Good afternoon, guys. Today is the last day of the class, so it'll be just me doing a combined class for the regular and advanced. Okay. So first thing first, if you have a somebody to pick you up, especially you guys, you want to text them that we'll be done by five o'clock.
Can you tell my mom?
Do you have your phone? Okay, I can text. I think I have your number, so I can, or I can give a ride as well. So
Okay, yeah.
let's do that.
All right.
So if anybody else want to inform, so let's do that because this is going to be a ACT writing class. Should not take much than more than 30-35 minutes. But I have other questions to ask. If you're online, can you hear me? First of all, make sure.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Yesterday we had the ACT review. Almost everybody came to this review. For I just want to have who attended the review. How did it go? So I know you two attended. So how was it?
No, I thought the math was pretty difficult, but other than that, I think it was fine.
That's why we buy these. Yeah, we buy. I actually gave a fudge factor of 1 point that extra because I thought the test was tough, especially the last 10 to 15 were tough, very tough actually. Kaden, what did you think?
It was good.
Was it helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. Online students who came to the review yesterday, how was it?
It was good.
Good as in like boring good or tough good? What type of good it is?
I felt like it was easier than I was expecting.
That's a good thing. All right. How about others?
I think it was definitely helpful to go through some of the answers afterwards.
Okay. And I still want to make sure you know that you can contact us if you have any questions on the test questions. Because you got to do that because that's a pretty good test, especially for I believe math. Then it was how was reading? What did you think? Reading was tough or easy or medium?
It was kind of
Medium. So I yeah. Go ahead.
I think it was pretty medium because like the first one was kind of difficult, then the second one and third one were honestly pretty easy. So it was really just the first one that was hard.
Okay. Usually, that's what they do in reading is usually one passage that kind of takes your most time away. How was English?
easy.
Easy. See, that's what the biggest surprise for me when people told me the October test English was hard. It was very hard for me to kind of understand that portion. So hopefully we'll see what happens in December. Now, which brings me to the next question. If you are, just go ahead and have your cameras on for a few minutes, please, if you don't mind. Just for a few minutes. My first question is, it's been a long semester. How did the class help you? Any feedback, comments, compliments, if any? I just want you guys to be honest with us and give me quick. I don't want to waste too much time. Any feedback? So, go.
I think there probably could be slightly more in terms of like substance for what the individual concepts are, like especially for math. But I think this course was definitely helpful with like learning how the ACT works and timing and stuff.
So, Elijah, what do you mean by individual? Can you clarify that for me?
Yeah, so um, like for the mathematics portion, I guess I would say I think I probably learned more in terms of like which questions I should focus on versus how to um, actually I guess never mind. It's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
If you have a thought that comes across your mind, just text me, okay? How about others? This is the only way we can improve the class. Let me tell you, I've been doing this for 14 years. And we actually used to have a form you guys used to fill and stuff. After COVID, things have changed quite a bit. And we used to have actually pizza and all these celebrations here, not for online students, of course, but people who showed up here, you know, ice cream, pizza. So we kind of had fun, but things have changed. So, any other thoughts, comments?
I actually liked the class. I think it was really helpful. I did like feel more motivated to like do ACT stuff, and it helped like get the timing down and stuff. But kind of what Elijah was saying, like the portions, like I guess what I was thinking he was saying was kind of like the questions, like going in depth into like how to do the questions and like solve the questions instead of like getting the timing down, because sometimes I would have troubles like understanding how to do the problem, and I guess that's where the questions come in. But yeah, that's what I thought. I liked it.
Okay, all right. You know, I just want to make sure you guys understand this. You know, you've been coming here every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. when your friends are watching football or hanging out. You know what they don't understand right now. And again, I have 6,000 students here. You know, who have gone through this program. The effort you're putting right now, someday, will benefit you in higher scholarships mainly, and better admissions. Yesterday we had our annual New Horizons Christmas party. Okay, so we gave an award for our best tutor of the year and stuff. What one of the awards we gave was the student who scored a perfect 36. So your instructor Rikav, who taught you guys English, got a 36. He was the only fourth student ever to have ever got a 36 at New Horizon out of 6,000 students. But now, you know, the offers he's getting and all these things is ridiculously high. So what I'm trying to tell you is this effort you're making is going to help you guys one day. And when people hear that as ACT has become test optional, I just want you to make sure you understand it is optional for admissions. It is not optional for scholarships. Luke is here, right in our center here. Luke's brother, Ryan.
Yep.
Ryan took our class, I believe last year, and he applied. He went to college right now, and I believe he was only one of the few students in his class who got the scholarship. Luke, is that right?
Yeah.
You want to tell it loudly so they can hear this?
Yeah, so he applied for many scholarships that required an ACT score, but the general admission to the school didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people who applied for those scholarships but didn't submit an ACT score didn't get the scholarships, but he did.
Yeah, and it's good for other students to actually not to take ACT tests, so that you guys get more money. Okay. Hey, you know what? This is how life works. Okay. If you suck at it, somebody else will get it. Okay. So don't suck. So anything else? Anything else you
I
wanna?
just know the class helped me a lot with like the harder questions, like math. My score was pretty good to begin with, but now I have a better like confidence with those last 10 questions that I got a lot wrong during the other ones, and especially with science, like just knowing the strategy to like get the right passages will definitely help me in the future, because I noticed how like in the test I was running out of time, but in all these practice tests now I have plenty of time because I was able to distinguish which ones I should do first so I don't get tired out. So just having those strategies really helps me with the time and helps me get as many points as possible on the easy questions so I score higher.
And you know, the main thing you made, Nathan, the comment is about science. I just can't emphasize the significance of those selection of passages. I've seen some students have a laissez-faire attitude towards that one. Oh, what's a big deal? You know, I'm not saying that's going to make a difference between an 18 and a 30. But at 26 and a 30, for sure it's going to happen. Especially for some tests when the passages can be hard, especially the first or the second passage being hard. That kind of dips your performance significantly. And of course, Nathan is in the advanced class, and this iPad group here we have in the regular group here. So that's why we have two levels. We want students to start with the ACT regular, get to that 26, 27, 28 level, and then take the advanced to get from 28 to a 36. So all our students who got 36 at New Horizon, all of them, 4 of them, have gone through regular and advanced. Some people have repeated advanced twice. Students who got 35s, majority of them have basically gone from regular to advanced. The difference is we cannot cover all the curriculum in one group. That's why we split it in 2014. From 2008 to 2014, we had only one group, and we hardly could, scrape the, we didn't have any practice. We taught the concept when we're done. So in 2014, I sat and strategized, okay, what is happening? Why our students are now scoring well, but they're not doing really well to my expectations. Then we split it in 2014. Boy, the scores have changed after that. So we have 4 students who have 36, around 45 students who have scored a 35 at New Horizon, and total scholarship of $30-40 million already. So, and I would like you guys to add to that. Okay, simple. It's hard for me to be here every Sunday teaching. I have a family. Sundays are hard, and I'm a college president, doing this and teaching. I have no life. But every time I think of stopping this, and I think of students who have made a difference. And next year will be 15 years for us. So I would like to continue this. Actually, we already started making plans for spring. I know some of the regular students have already signed up for the advanced class. So you need to start talking to your parents if you're interested. I think at least 50% of the regular group should be taking the advanced class, and then in spring semester. Anything else? How did our tutors do? Got to be honest, including me, by the way. How did we do as teaching-wise?
So that I think went really well. Yeah.
Thank you. Any final thoughts, comments?
I have one thing. Well, I feel like the class has been great and helped prepare me and make the test way less intimidating and just increase my knowledge in general. But I still kind of struggle with the reading because when I read at my normal pace, then I'm rushed at the end. And when I try reading at like a faster pace, I miss a bunch of details and get questions wrong.
Okay, so reading is the toughest to teach. I'll give an analogy. It's kind of weird analogy, but actually it kind of hopefully. Reading is like a smelling thing. You can't teach people how to smell. You either smell it or you don't smell it, right? Same thing with reading. It's hard to teach reading. You either read well. See, for me, ACT reading was the toughest for me. Never liked it. Till today, I don't like it. That's why I stopped teaching in 2014. I teach ACT English, math, English reading, math, and science, all of them. But I stopped teaching it. Sharon, I'll get back to you on some ideas, okay? One of the things I always believe people who do not naturally come, the reading doesn't come naturally, always believe going to the question, not to the passage. Raise your hands, how many go to the question for ACT reading, not reading the passage? How many do that? 1. Nobody. Okay, all right. I always went to questions because my goal was to get as many questions correct, and my goal was not to understand the passage. I never cared about it because I wanted to get more points. So reading the passage, again, I'm not saying for you to change the strategy, but ask yourself this question: would you remember what you have read when you start answering the questions? And majority of times your answer is no, you won't remember, so you'll have to anyway go back to it. And especially questions when they say in line 134, what is the meaning of this word? I don't have to know the entire passage to get that question right. So I always did the strategy, and again, I'm not saying you to change it because reading is the most tricky. So the first question and the last question of the reading passage were usually the difficult for me. So out of the 40, 2 per passage were difficult for me. So I had 32 questions I focused on. And that's how I did in the ACT. I did from question number 2 to 9 for each passage. Then I wanted to get those 32 right. First, that's all I cared about. The remaining 8 was bonus for me. I knew my weakness. That was my weakness. I didn't fight it. But I put in a lot of practice tests though, Soren. I took a lot of practice tests. So my complaints to you guys, or my comments, or whatever you want to call it as, first, you guys didn't ask as many questions as we anticipated, especially the regular group. Advanced was a lot better this time. The COVID has really created that barrier between us and the students in terms of asking questions. Just because so Nisha, you made the comment, right? About the going in depth of the question. We asked for it, like, hey, do you have any questions? So can you ask us to pinpoint so that, and people don't do that. So we are not mind readers, and I'm pretty sure you can understand that, especially being, like, just ask. I'm that type of student. When I don't understand, even in my meetings, I said, I'm not a stupid person to say, hey, please, I won't sound stupid if I ask that to somebody to repeat it. I don't care. I want to know. I want to learn better. So asking question is actually a skill. Students are losing it. Second, another things I'm seeing with you guys is you guys have to put in more effort on practice test. Full practice test, not individual practice test. Next Saturday is the test, the real test. You got to put in the time for this, right? For sports, you will do it, right? You go 2 hours practice every day or something like that. Why can't we do the same thing for ACT? You got to prioritize ACT because this is going to give you scholarship. Someday you'll be grateful for your effort you're going to make. Don't tell me you're going to be tired. I'm managing 2 full-time jobs, being 2 presidents of companies. When I can make the effort, you sure can make the effort. And I always tell this to my son. My son is here, by the way, sitting. I always tell him, losers always have reasons. I always say, if you don't do well, you can always come up with a reason, right? This didn't happen, this didn't happen. Have you ever blamed yourself for not putting the effort you're supposed to be? Same with our tutors, I tell them. When they don't do a good class, and I tell them that, did you put in your maximum effort for this class? If the answer is no, I don't need any other explanation because you didn't do your due diligence. So ask yourself this question. Everybody wants to get a good score. I've never seen anybody say, oh, I'm happy with a 16. No, I've never heard that. Everybody wants to get a 36. Question is, are we putting efforts to get to that point? If your answer is no, I think you got to start from scratch there. Okay, you know what? I need to re-strategize. I know you play sports. You guys are busy. You have activities. So did the remaining 6,000 students who have gone through this program. You're not the only ones. Sounds good? Put in the effort. I did it. For my engineering, I used to sleep 2-3 hours a day for 4 years. I wanted to come for United States for my master's, plus I had to maintain my grades in engineering school. So I had to finish my engineering work, school work, and study for graduate exams so I could pass and come here to United States. I had no life. So when I can do it, you sure can do it as well. You're much more smarter than I was. Still you are. So you are my students, okay? I'm obsessed about my students. And I do not like you guys to give me reasons. Fair enough? So you have 5 more days. No studying on Friday, next Friday. No studying on Fridays. Never ever do study on Fridays. Friday should be come home, rest. Your mind is a funny thing. If it's not rested, you're going to make silly mistake. B becomes C, C becomes D. I have a student from South Sioux City High School years back. She was in her friend's place till 3 a.m. playing video games. and she had a 30 ACT score after her class, and she took it again to improve her scores. She went down by 7 points. She got a 23, and she blamed us that this class didn't help. Well, she got to from a 27 to a 30. Then we went from 30 to a 23. Now all of a sudden we are the villains, the bad people. I asked her only one question: what time you went to bed? She said 3 a.m. I said, I don't have to ask you any more questions. You're responsible for your action. We know when we suck at it, we improve on it. We are very critical of how we teach and how we do. But I want this group, advanced group, I want to be very honest with you guys. I'm expecting a lot from you guys in December. I think one of the top groups I had in advanced class. All of you. And I mean it. Regular students should be targeting 28 to 30 range. And I know October was hard. I know that. But I believe December would be the normal one. I know how it works. If it comes out hard, I'll really be surprised. But we can't blame the test. We have to blame our preparation. Fair enough? Any questions? Any final comments? Remember, you're my students. You can always contact me after this class. Whether you're going to be in college, doing your master's, PhD, doesn't matter. I have students who actually now are doctors. They are still in touch with me. So that relationship doesn't just stop today. It only starts to blossom from today. I'm supposed to be there for you guys. My experience should make a difference to you. Plain and simple. Sounds fair? All right. We're going to start with ACT writing. How many are signed up for the December test for writing? 1, 2, 3. Okay. How many are planning to take writing going forward? Okay. Don't listen to what the colleges say. Take the ACT writing. Sounds good? Get it done. Some schools it's not a requirement, some schools do. But just get it done. We're going to get started with ACT writing. Let's get started. I want to make sure the online students can see this. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Get your notes. Let's get started. And I know all of you have the math packet. Make sure to keep the math packet even after you're finished, done with the ACTs. Take it to college. It's going to help you guys. Ready? All right. So you do the English, math, then you have a break, reading, then you have science, then you have a break again, then you get to ACT writing. So you'll be supremely tired. So I'm going to be sending a message to you guys on the group me about what you have to do during the break time. After the math is done, between math and reading. That 15 minutes is crucial for you guys. We used to actually have a completely 1 hour session on that one. How to prepare for the break time on Fridays and the Thursdays. So, break time is pretty crucial. And read my instructions. I'm going to send it. I'm going to post it today. And we have been using this for the last 14 years. It's literally been a copy paste. We have made some changes. One thing for sure, make sure you take your mask with you guys. Depending on school, depending where you are located, rules can change in a heartbeat. So read the instructions I'm going to send and follow the instructions to the core. Sounds good? So ACT writing, you'll be tired. Let's accept it. It's another 40 minutes. It used to be 30 minutes. Now it's 40 minutes. You'll be writing an essay on one prompt. One prompt. You'll be graded from a 2 to 12. You'll be graded from 2 to 12. And for College Readiness Index, it's CRI, you need equal or greater than 8 out of 12 to be CRI. That means you can write for, when you go to college, you can actually write and get at least a B grade in college. That's what 8 means. It's hard to get a 12. I don't think so in New Horizon we ever had anybody get a 12. We had 11, 1 or 2. It's very hard to get 11. But we had a lot of students get 10, 9s and so forth. So how it is graded? So 2 ACT readers grade from 1 to 6. 2 individual ACT readers grade from 1 to 6. So let's say this dude gives a 3. Let's say this dude gives a 4. They add them together and you get a 7. That's how it's graded. But let's say this person gives a 3 and let's say this person gives a 6. Now the difference is more than 2 points. This goes to a third reader who decides the entire score. So if the difference between the readers is more than 2 points, it goes to the third person called arbitration grading. And the third grader decides the entire score to the 12. It can happen. So let's use some logic, guys, here. You get a 4 here, 4 out of 6, right? 4 out of 6 is what in percent? Quick. 67%, right? 2/3. So you have to get a 67% proficiency to get an 8 in the, that's what you need, 67%. That's a D. But they're happy with this. I would have gone to 9 actually. But I've seen, we have students get 3, we have students get 3s, 4s. I've seen a lot lately with 6. 6 and 7 has been a lot of them. Okay. So 40 minutes, one prompt. This is how its grading is done. Now, I would like you to stop writing, put your pencils down and listen to this. And then I'm going to give you some time for you to write this. Because this is where you need to be completely focused. So, this is how it's going to look for you guys when you get to the writing, ACT writing. This side has lines. This side has lines. And you have more pages basically after this. I'm literally trying to give you the whole picture here. This is where the prompt would be. This is called the grading area. And this is called the non-grading area. So what it means is, anything you write here, good, bad, whatever, comments, notes, whatever, will not be graded. Only this is graded. So one of our student, again, sometimes shit happens. He totally forgot and he wrote his essay here. He got a 2. He was actually a very good writer, to be honest. We were like in shell shock. So when we got a copy of it, we had to contact ACT, like, how could it happen? They said that you didn't write anything on the grading section. Yeah, well, 1 out of 6,000, so that can happen. So, you guys got the point? Don't, make sure you know that. So, you have 40 minutes, and this is how it's going to look like. So, let's say your supervisor says, Your time starts now. Okay? We're gonna divide this 40 minutes into 3 sections. 10, 20, 10. All right? The first 10 minutes are very, very crucial. First thing is to read the prompt 3 times. You have to read the prompt 3 times. You cannot answer something you do not understand. Am I right? Read it 3 times. Second, in the non-grading area, decide few things. First, am I gonna be writing this as myself or as a third party? You put this in this side so that you know what you're thinking. Sounds good. You'll be very tired. So what I mean by myself versus third party. So for example, one of the prompts in the past was, should middle school students be allowed to use social media? So let's say I myself have experienced it with my parents, then I'm going to write my own story about it. Okay? So the other example, another essay, it was, should the high schools should make music education a mandatory class? It's a graduation requirement. Well, I didn't experience that, so I'm going to write it as a third party. So your essay should clearly define what are you representing your essay on, about you or somebody else. Second, you want to make notes here. Make your notes, thought processes about this prompt. Then you'll have 3 boxes, and you should not have seen these 3 boxes when you read the prompt. So when you read the prompt, hold a hand or something like that in the real test, so you do not read those boxes called perspective boxes. And it's 1, 2, and 3 perspectives. Do not read that. I'm warning you guys on this. This will completely change your mind. Sounds good? So when you're making your notes, your thoughts, your ideas on this page, you should avoid reading those perspective box. Then, once you're completely done with your thought processes, ideas, then read the perspective boxes. So, when do you read the perspective boxes? After your idea analysis. Read it, and one of the perspective box should match with the idea you're thinking about. Sounds good? If you directly read them, you will be guided on a wrong path. Your thoughts should match with at least one. So let me tell you my own example about the social media one. Should the middle school students be allowed to use social media? So my thing is, before even reading the perspective, no, the middle school students should not be allowed to use social media because they'll be disturbed, they'll have no focus, the attention span, blah, 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 blah. Then when I read the perspective box, it was a perspective box number 2. No, the students should not be allowed to use social media. So I picked perspective 2, and I write here, I am writing on perspective 2. You got to make your intent clear to the reader because they do not have time to understand that. They get around 60 seconds to read the whole essay. So if you don't make it clear, they don't know which one you're picking. Am I making myself clear? Go ahead and write down these notes first. Then we'll continue. Understand, ask questions. We're still in the first 10 minutes, by the way. Any questions so far? It'll be always fun to get questions from the students because we can use our experience to kind of talk about it. Somebody had, Annika, do you have a question?
I actually have 3 questions.
Oh, I'm so happy. 3 times happy.
The first is, do I have to pick a perspective that they provide me? Because they say that I can do my own if I want to.
No, you
but,
can't.
If I don't recommend it.
No, you can't. This is a new thing that included in ACT writing. It was not there before. They just gave the prompt 30 minutes, write it. Now, that's the exact reason why you should not be reading the perspectives, because once you read them, you're going to take it out of your mind. You already know what is there, right? So you'll be kind of forced to be thinking those 3 ways because you have no other choice. So Anaika, I have a comment on this. I actually wanted to talk a little bit more about it actually. So let's say you did the idea analysis, and let's say your idea analysis did not meet with any of the 3 perspective boxes. That is the worst case scenario, because now you are forced to pick one of those which you are not comfortable with. And the reader can read between the lines and say that you didn't do a good job and your essay actually clearly shows that way at the time. So when the students get a low score, one of the reasons is that one, that your perspective and the perspective box are not matching well. Good question. Next.
Okay, do they make you write in the academic voice? Are they going to take points off if I say, like, if I use the pronoun I in there? Because I have some teachers who say that you should never speak in the first person when you're writing.
Okay. Well, why don't I just? She's 10 steps ahead of me, so I'm happy about it. Avoid I's. Doesn't mean you should not have it. Rule to remember in college applications and all those things. You do not want to have I's. I went to this school, instead of saying that I had the privilege of attending this school is okay, or my school is this and I was one of the students. Something I's are just too much of a distractor for a reader. Avoid them. Great question. Next.
Is there a specific length that we should be aiming for?
Okay. Well, as I said, she's already ahead. So I'll get back to you on this one. So let me get just to here. So in the idea analysis, you got to have a clear cut of what you're going to write and which perspective it is. You got to mention this. You're going to lose points if they have to find which one is matching. So let's get to this one. Development and support. What does this mean? This means when you start writing the essay, give examples. Give examples. Examples carry a lot of weightage. Then she asked me that question, how many pages and all those things. Ideally, with a normal, decent handwriting, you have to have at least 2 pages in 5 paragraphs. If your handwriting sucks, your grade will suck because they have to read your handwriting. So, need decent handwriting.
So I have a very quick question. Would there be anything wrong with using 2 perspectives?
I will answer this in next 3 minutes.
Okay.
So, when you are developing your essay, you're going to support with examples. The first paragraph and the last paragraphs are the most important. So, first and last are very important. First paragraph should have a nice introduction. Last should conclude. Do not use cell phone language. Do not use cell phone language. No LOLs. LMAO, whatever it is. Because your grades will be a LMAO as well. Okay. Remember, these readers are not teenagers. These usually are retired professors who don't know shit about technology. So if we try to be doing that, we had some funny answers. Trust me, we don't want that. So just because first and last are important doesn't mean the middle is not important. So don't BS. That's a big turn off. Do not BS. Because this ruins everything. Now they've already made up their mind that they're going to give. And how do you get more points? They look at the idea, highest points. They look at how many, what type of examples and how you're supporting your ideas. How are you organizing this? And then your language and grammar. This is a huge deal, is grammar and convention. Proper grammar, commas, clauses, all those things, semicolons, everything. So it has to flow really, really well. So the next comment is make sure the essay flows well. If I don't want to read, if it becomes boring, you already have a low score. You want to make the reader read. You want to entice him. Humor is allowed. Humor and emotions are allowed. And I have answered all your questions.
Yes, you have. Thank you.
This is what I would do for my college app as well. This is how we grade it actually. This is exactly how I grade when I do a lot of college consultation, when students write essays, this is what I look for. Does it flow well? When I do our Common App college consultation for essays, the first time I read usually is in a, like let's say I'm having a drink, I'm relaxing, I just read it once. If I can read the entire essay that time, I already know it's a crap essay. Because if you cannot make me read, forget about grammar, forget about everything else. Because the goal of your essay is to make the reader read first. Am I right? If they can read, then there's what's the point of everything else? That's why when I created this strategy, this is the one I spent the most time. This is the most important one. Your ideas. That's why this order, what I've created here, this is a strict order, by the way. This is the order I'm following. I expect you to follow. This is the order. First idea, then go this way. Remember, people who are reading are humans. Okay? Don't forget that. Then, in the 30 minutes you have done is the idea, you have created the idea, you wrote 2, maybe 3 pages. Anything less than a page usually tells that you didn't have time, you have no idea what the prompt was. So anything less than 1 page, make a comment in your notes. Less than 1 page usually sends a wrong message. This is very, very important. If you write more than 3 pages, they know it has a lot of crap in it. That's why the 2 pages is the ideal range you want to be looking for. So what should you do in the last 10 minutes? First, you got to read for yourself the entire essay. If you cannot read your own essay, forget it. The other guy won't read it either. Read for yourself the entire thing. When you're reading, check for grammar and language errors. Look for errors. So when you're reading, check and recheck the grammar. This is where you're focusing the 10 minutes is on the grammar and the convention. The organization, the development happens in the 20 minutes. That's a plenty of time, by the way, 20 minutes is. Okay? But when you're reading for yourself in the last 10 minutes, you got to check for grammar and convention mistakes. How do I practice for the ACT writing? I would try 1 to 2 essays for ACT writing. This should be plenty. But after writing, grade and be critical of your mistakes. Grade and improve. Forgot one comment, or Anita had asked about how about perspective two, what happens for other perspective. Please write on this note. This is very important. You have to reference, I'm left with no space now. Reference one additional perspective without criticizing it. So let's say I say that social media should not be used, and let's say the perspective one box was yes, social media should be allowed. You can comment about it without being condescending or downgrading it. Does that make sense? Anaika, does that make sense?
I think so, but does that mean that you shouldn't like refute it with your ideas, or that you shouldn't like kind of sneer at it as you're saying it?
Tell me what you mean by that. I know I've heard this before as well.
So does that mean that you should, reference it, say, I think that's, despite that some people say that social media should be allowed, I think that for such and such a reason it should not be. Like,
Bingo.
Is that okay?
Bingo.
In the same sentence?
That's the bingo. Despite, despite some people using social media and for their own reasons, I am against it for this one. Support yours by referring the other one. But don't say these peoples are stupid who are allowing social media for sixth graders, they'll be dumb and all. No, don't do that. Don't be condescending. Don't be refuting them in a very harsh way. Refuting should be in a professional way. The one, Anaika make a point. That's actually very well said, Anaika. That was very well said.
So should I respond to the content of the argument too? Saying they said that it's that social media is good because of X, Y, and Z. Should I say that X, Y, and Z are actually less important, or should I just say, but there's also this?
I'm trying to understand your comment. Can somebody help me here? I'm not sure I understand your comment.
Yeah. So when so should I say that they're wrong for the reasons?
Oh no, never,
Or-
never,
Okay.
never say perspective one is wrong. Say I do not agree based on these reasons is a better approach. So, for example, I would, if I were one of the essays, if I want to make here is should pre-calc or trigonometry be mandated in high schools? Perspective one, yes, they should be mandated. Two, not sure. No, it should not be mandated. Third, depends on the major the students are going. So at that time, I would say, let's say I'm for pre-calc and trig being a requirement. I would say here are the reasons why the perspective two, I would disagree with perspective two, saying that students who are going to college as a freshman students will have 2 years of gap of no math that can affect their freshman performance. That's all I would do and back off from that one. Okay. Good. These are good questions and good comments. I like that.
So will it always be a persuasive essay that we're writing?
Sorry, Nathan, I lost you here.
Will it always be a persuasive essay that we're writing then? Like we should always be trying to persuade, or is it explanatory,
Both.
or does it?
It depends on the prompt. I actually do not like to persuade a reader because that means you're forcing them to do something they're not comfortable with. I would say your essay should be so intriguing that they want to be persuaded to read and complete reading. That's a better approach. It should be intriguing. That's the key thing I look for.
So more like an argument paper rather than a persuasive paper. Like
Yeah,
just showing-
argument paper is a better approach than a yeah. So I had a student. She actually just finished her Common App essays with us. She did our consultation. She actually lives in Switzerland. She's an international student. Her parents traveled, so she was in Houston for a long time. Then she moved to Qatar, where the football is going on, soccer is going on. Then she moved to Switzerland. Probably one of the best essays I've seen. My God, that essay was amazing. Like, I don't usually say this. And usually when students submit the drafts to us, it usually goes to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drafts to complete our. We are very particular about it. Hers was done in 3, maybe even 2. It was amazing. So 650. Because Nathan, what she did was, she didn't even being, it was not persuading. It was a flow. She made me read her content. It was a storyline. It was like, oh, what happened after the first paragraph? I need to read the second paragraph to know more. It was intriguing. She made me read it. So if there is anything about this that makes sense to me is only one statement. If you cannot make the reader read, this is all waste. This is all strategies. End of the day, you have to make them read. How do they read? If it's enticing. How many of you read the Harry Potter? How many of you have read Harry Potter? A lot of people? I'm not, by the way. But why did you read after volume 1 to volume 2, right? You have so many crap load of Harry Potter books. My son reads all the time. Used to. Because it was intriguing. He couldn't wait to get the next book. That's how she made $1 billion. What is it? R.K. J.K. Rowling or something? Yeah, J.K. Rowling. So she made $1 billion because she made people intrigued. I've seen in India, in railway stations in India, kids reading Harry Potter. That's what you call a good novel. When you make people read in the weirdest location and you cannot get the books away from their hands. Do not ever forget the power of writing an intriguing essay. I would let it go of some grammar if your essay is intriguing. I said the hell with the grammar at the time. Don't do it, by the way, but I'm just saying as a grader. It's so good that's what happened with this girl. She wrote it so good that I didn't even care about commas and stuff like that. I wanted to see what happened, and the flow was there. She created this. She would be a good storyteller. Any other questions, comments?
I have one more question.
Please.
Can we use fragments in this essay? Like if you say like interesting, perhaps, is that considered a grammar error?
Can you make a sentence so it's more meaningful to me instead of like a broken clause?
Oh goodness. So like, well that's kind of the point. Like, if can you use that kind of a broken clause where it's like an interesting question mark, perhaps period.
Okay.
That kind of fragments in your writing.
That happens more in the Common App essays, but I would not be too harsh on the grading aspect of it. But if we all do it, I'll be definitely will be taking points away from it.
Okay, thanks.
Fragmentation creates confusion. if it's used too much. Fragmentation is a what I call the hooks. You're hooking them on that key fragmented one or two words. You're hooking them a phrase. But if you see that all the time, that means you're not able to write a good sentence. Sentence formation lacks. So your sentence formation should be the main focus. A fragmented approach is only if it's needed. Anayaka, don't force it, by the way. And then that should happen in more of the idea analysis part of it, not so during this second phase 2 of this. But perhaps interesting, yeah. In Common App essays, we see a lot of it actually. Does it help?
Yeah, thanks.
You got some good questions, really good questions.
So in the final 10 minutes, you said go back and edit. So do we just erase, or like how do we make edits? Because I know like on writing, my stuff gets messy when I try to make edits throughout, like add a comma or like rewrite a phrase because it doesn't make sense the way I worded it right away. So how do we do that effectively?
First, you're writing with a pencil. Second, we gave a white eraser, high polymer eraser for that reason.
So just try to get rid of it as best as possible. And
But remember, Nathan, ask yourself this question. When you're reading in the last phase 3, last 10 minutes, if you cannot read at all, how can they grade, right? So when you erase, make sure it's erased correctly. There are already enough essays to read for them. They read 160,000 essays. So don't add to the stress all they're already in, right? Make it easy for them.
yeah,
That's why good handwriting always gets you higher points, I can tell you. That's the first thing. Second is the good content. Sentence formation, storyline. I've seen some real good essays, by the way. In the 40 minutes, people have pulled in some fantastic essays. I would practice at least one. And you'll see some of the prompts. There was a prompt that was pretty hard years back, actually. How would climate change affect the economy of the countries? Asking that for a teenager who's not exposed to climate change, economy, yeah, that was a pretty bad one, I would say. I like the one that will relate to you guys. You know, that's relatable to you guys. So for example, voting issues. So asking, should high school kids be allowed to create voting unions in high schools? I would ask that question because it's pertaining to you guys. So the people who write the prompt should also think, who are they asking? Who is the audience is? They want to have good prompt essays as well, not just a good prompt. But a good prompt, reading 3 times, will help you write a good essay. Anything else? Any other comments?
Yeah, so this was definitely very helpful to me because I'd been treating it like a DBQ before.
DBQ?
Kind of like for an AP exam, you had like a document-based question.
Oh,
so
that DBQ. Okay, yeah.
And then answer it based on.
Yeah. That's why, no, yeah, I know what you're saying. No, I think that's why I actually teach this, because I do this all the time. I've evaluated more than 1,000 essays in the last 14 years. And it usually takes 5 minutes for me to tell. So let me give you an example. I would like to end with this. This was a Common App essay for Notre Dame. This student, she's actually a senior in Notre Dame. She was in our advanced fall class years back. And she was actually in the other room, was a student from Sioux City here. So the question was about one of the 7 prompts, at that time 6 it was, out of the 6 prompts was she wanted to talk about her background. What is the background something you would like to share which a resume cannot tell about you. So she wrote and everything, and I just was like, no, this is not even making sense. So what I did was I asked her to tell her life story. Let's just talk to me face to face. So then we shifted her essay without changing the content. Look what we did was, so we wrote $12 per hour. Sorry, $12. We just wrote $12 and dot, dot, dot. And then we get to the other things we started writing about. But nowhere we mentioned what the $12 was till the last line. This is what my mom made to feed in 7 kids she had. So till they read the last line, they were getting intrigued. What is this $12? They would be thinking about the $12 all through. That I made sure that they kept reading it. She got $280,000 scholarship to Notre Dame. And I'm not saying that essay gave her that money, but essay had to have played a role, because when I read it, I had almost tears in my eyes. Because we supported with examples of what she struggled with. But all the way, we were wondering what the $12 was. Right? You would be wondering, right? When you read something that's not, it's kind of incomplete purposely, you would always want to know, what is it? What is it? Till the last line. Another example to Michigan was a University of Michigan engineering school. It was a supplemental question. The question was, in 100 words, explain an activity you did in high school you would like to do it in college. And the student, she's actually a third-year mechanical engineering student at Michigan right now. He wrote, this is what he wrote: I would like to play golf. Okay, that's what he wrote. How boring it is, right? How boring it is to just say, oh, I did golf, so I want to do golf. So you know what we did? We spun it. This activity is the most frustrating, yet very rewarding. This activity is the best thing that has ever happened to me. So the guy had to read the entire thing to know what the activity was. So the activity is called golf. You got to make it intriguing. I will wish you all the very best for the Saturday ACT test. It has been a pleasure teaching you guys. After the test, please text me how it goes. I'll be impatiently waiting. As I said, I'm going to remind this: you're my student. Once student, student forever. You always can contact me. After the semester is done, GPA is important, so watch out for your school grades. Then I hope you all have some nice break, a good Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Take care of yourself. Thanks for the opportunity. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.